A client comes to you and says, "Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
some dog. I got a dog food business or a pet care business." Some business owners and website owners don't know. They know they need links, and they go, "Hey, I just need to get links to this site." They don't know which page to get it to or why. Why maybe a
Right.
pillar page or a main category page or the home page might be better. I have a little bit of an understanding, but I'd like to hear from you. What type of pages, what and where should we be sending these links to before we go away and look for them? Like how do you tell people and help people choose what they get links to?
Target
Yeah.
pages. Yeah, so choose target
Yeah.
pages, right? So when a lead comes in, I have a full list of I think it's 24 questions, and then we go through what are your link building efforts so far? Who's your target audience? What are topics they want to know more about? What are topics they should know more about? What are services you think deserve more attention? What do you want to focus on for the next 2 months? Your keywords, all these things help determine the target pages, but usually clients have already determined their target pages. So sometimes I do it for them. What I usually look for then is that I do some keyword research. I see which keywords are relevant to the product or their audience, and where are opportunities where they can grow. So kind of like low-hanging fruits. So for instance, you look at page 1, they're not in the top 3, right? But they're in 4 or 5. What can we do to bump that up? And then I look at that topic or that product on your site. What's around it, right? So do you have an informational cluster around it, or a linkable asset, or something like that? And ideally, I always try to determine 1 or 2 commercial pages to focus on for the next 2 to 3 months. Informational pages around that, because I do like to go for unpaid links mostly. So I want to see what would make sense to link out to for somebody without getting money for it.
Yeah. So you mean like a link exchange?
No, like a guest post, for
Okay.
instance. Or a link insertion. So one of the things that I also do is content ideation for linkable assets. Can I tell you a little bit about that if you want to know? Your audience wants to, like, you know all about that, but your audience. So I think content is so important. I mean, of course you can get tons of links without having content, but at some point you gotta do it, because it's just gonna you gotta start building that, because it's gonna help you along the way to just vacuum up all those things.
Rank for all the keywords.
So for content ideation,
rank for all the keywords.
Yes, that's all the keywords. Position 1, guaranteed. No. But one of the things that we do is very simple stats pieces. So usually the client writes those. And when you look at your audience, there are some trending topics, or there are things that sites always publish around for that specific audience. And if you look at journalists and publishers, they need to do their homework, right? So when they write about a topic, they need to have data. And I found that, yes, you can do your own data, but it does take a lot of time, or maybe I'm just really bad at it. But what you can also do is make a compilation of all the stats that are around floating on the internet. So just make an article, but it's kind of a dry piece that goes through all the stats. Then you put all the stats, the most important facts on the top of the article. And then if you have a pretty strong domain, you can just maybe build a couple links to it, but just let it sit there. And then journalists are going to do their research. And when they use the stats from that piece, they'll just link to it, because they don't have time. They have to do 10. So they're not going to see what the original source is. They're just going to use your piece. So we did a piece like that for a client around veganism. It picked up 250 links, right? So that's great. But it's over the year. So you have to update it every year. And the other thing is foundational pieces. So that's around if you have something that's relevant. Well, I'll just name an example. So we have a client that's part of their audience are honeymooners, people that are getting married. Of course, an engagement ring is really important in that. And then I found out that a lot of the gemstones that are used in engagement rings or other jewelry, there weren't really good foundational pieces on them. So Wikipedia pieces, right? But the fun thing about creating a foundational piece that's not on Wikipedia is that you can make it pretty juicy. So you can also talk about the benefits of gemstones, the meaning, the origins, all those things that are too controversial to include in Wikipedia. And when somebody's getting married or they want to give somebody a piece of jewelry, it's also about the origin and all that stuff, but it's more about the meaning because it's a milestone, right? So with that client, we did all these foundational pieces around every gemstone that's on the planet. And then you might think like, oh, that's not really relevant. We're not selling gemstones, blah, blah, blah. However, one of the pieces got picked up by US magazine because they were writing about the engagement ring of Jennifer Lopez. And they were doing a piece because US magazine also has Forbes affiliate clusters. Yeah. Forbes-like affiliate clusters. So they were like, how can you buy the same ring as Jennifer Lopez on Amazon? And they were talking about a specific gemstone and its benefits. And then they quoted the clients about the benefits of the stone. I forgot what your question was, but I think it was about how to get links.
Yeah, it was how to choose which pages and on your site to build links to. And
so if you don't have target pages, if you don't have target pages,
no, it was just like just an example of somebody that doesn't know what page they should be building. Like you go, I just need some links on my site. But I think that's a great example of having a main page, a target page. And you can have the cool thing about that is if you build a lot of links to that and you have different gemstones with different data points and information about it, you can also have supporting pieces of content for it. So you can have a whole content cluster based off that main target page, and you can have internal links from that main target page to other pieces of content where maybe US magazine links to that target page for the initial information about one of the gemstones, but then they can go to that page and click onto another link on your own site where they get a full article around that gemstone, which just adds so much value to that link and the user to your site, which means the link's so much more valuable, right?